And this is a site where any governmental entity can go to make a GRAMA request. Excuse me, I said that wrong. Anyone can go to make a GRAMA request of any governmental entity. And so the archives has put a lot of work into identifying all of the special districts and identifying all of the governmental entities to list them here in this portal. And see if you So here we have various governmental entities, and you can like come to cities and towns. So let's say we want to go to antimony. And here we can see under antimony, or under each one of these, you can see the records officer listed down there. And see that Rowan Henry is the records officer for this town, and she is certified. So if you were a requester, then you could click on the blue button, and that will take you to a field where you can create a login and request records. Thank you. Very good. So how many of you have experience with the Open Records portal? Yeah. Any feedback about it?
I had a little bit of trouble because I am the CAO and the records officer for the Human Resource Department. And once I went in and was both, it restricted me on the CAO side. And so once I got a hold of them and everything, but that's the only problem I've had. It works great.
Right. So this is another legal mandate that governmental entities have to be able to be in the portal and to respond to requests through the portal. So if a member of the public makes a request through the portal, then that sends the records officer an email saying that they have a request in the portal. Then the records officer has to go in and log in and see what the request is, and they can respond to it through the portal, or they can click a button that says respond outside the portal, and then they, just will take care of it independently of this interface. So, going back, that's the Open Records portal, but moving back to the archives website. So we have this list of certified records officers also that we publish. So this particular list is municipalities, so it lists every municipality and the records officer, their contact information, and then it is more specific about when they first certified, when they most recently certified, and when their certification is due. So it's all there. So that's open government, and then there's the State Records Committee. All of the decisions and orders of the State Records Committee ever since it was initiated in 1992 are on the website, so that you can see what the issues were and what decision was made, how they decided. go back to the records management portion. So the retention schedules are on the records management website. And as someone mentioned, we used to have these divided up by government type. So there was a retention schedule for counties and a retention schedule for municipalities and so on. And now they're all dumped in one big bucket and you can't find them organized that way anymore. So you would just have to think about the function or what kind of record you are looking for a schedule for and then do a search. So like, for example, let's say we want to look for minutes. Do a search. And then you can see the schedule. So open meeting minutes and public materials. You know, you can read the description of that, and it says retained permanently. So for whatever it is, you can look for a schedule that fits, and then these retention schedules are already pre-approved, and you can use those as an authority to govern how long you keep records. This is really, you know, kind of rough and high level, but do you have any questions about GRAMA or about our website or anything at all? Yes.
So, as far as I know, there's only 2 of us that have actually certified to be records officers. But everybody's answering requests for their offices. So, I mean, I would assume if it's the law that the records officers are the ones that are supposed to be answering, that that's a problem.
Yes.
So what is the, I guess, permission, or where does it become a problem if everybody's answering them? Like if they let stuff go that they shouldn't have, is that what, I don't know exactly how to answer. Yeah, like, so if my assessor releases something and she shouldn't have, am I the one that's gonna be in trouble because she wasn't certified? It should have come to me. Does that make sense? I guess so I can go to them all and say, stop doing this, because this is what's gonna happen.
You can go to them and say, stop doing this because we want to be compliant, and the records officer is trained and is the one who should respond to GRAMA requests. So in the law, it's a Class B misdemeanor to knowingly release records that shouldn't be released, or vice versa, to refuse to release records that should be released. But the catch is, it has to be not just a mistake that you didn't know better. You have to, it has to be that you knowing you did it. So there's some grace there,
But the question she's asking is, if someone else in the county releases a record and it shouldn't have been released,
right.
And she was not aware of it, is she responsible?
No, the person who released it is responsible.
But then there's that gray area if they didn't know that they shouldn't release it. And
Right. If they didn't know, and that's why it's the responsibility of the chief administrative officer to see that people are trained. So it kind of falls back, you know, to see that the records officer is trained, and that anyone who's releasing records is trained and you know, working through the records officer. Yes.
Question, I'm just reading on the bottom of that one on open meeting recordings, and it said that you're supposed to retain it for 3 years after the approval of the minutes. When did that change? Because it used to be 1 year. Do you notify people when changes happen?
This is not what I do, but I don't know if we're doing a good job of that. That changed a few years ago. I remember when it changed from 1 year to 3 years.
Actually, the AG's office is supposed to notify everyone of changes to anything that has to do with the Open Meetings Act. Every governmental agency, the AG's office is required to notify them of all changes, but they've had a lot of the same problem. They don't have a good list of every single entity that exists out there.
Right. Anyway, it's a good idea to kind of check this, you know. So I saw another question. Yes, here.
Do you have, is there a place where it suggests how we classify them? Or
How
they
you
are, yeah.
how to classify
Like what's
it?
public and what's private?
So you have to go through the list and figure it out.
So on this retention schedule, it doesn't tell you necessarily.
No, retention has got to do with how long you keep records. Classification has got to do with who has access and they don't need. So-
Each entity classifies their own.
Every entity classifies their own. So we used to publish suggestions on the retention schedules and we stopped doing that because that's not our responsibility and that's, it was misconstrued as a mandate and not a suggestion.
I have two. So in regards to the same records officer, we looked ours up and it's somewhere in our clerk's office. So our attorney should not be sending out GRAMA unless he becomes a records officer himself. Is that correct?
Right.
And he can do that.
He could
We
do
can
that.
have more than one officer within our county.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. And then, can you show us where we could go to the retention schedule? That we could find it on the website?
For your county, you mean? Or,
Well, is there a state guideline for records retention?
so this is it. So
Okay.
these are general retention
General
schedules.
retention. Oh, okay, I didn't see that.
This is for everyone, and
Okay.
it, right now is just showing the results of the search I put in. But you
Oh.
would go to this search and search
Okay.
for whatever kind of record you're looking for, and that should bring up the schedule for that.
Is there a tab? I'm sorry, I didn't see how you got to retention schedules.
Okay, so we go back to records management on the tab. at the
Oh, right
top.
there. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm. Yes,
So with something like that Joanne asked about, where the state law prescribes how long you retain it,
uh-huh.
do you really have to regurgitate that in your retention schedule?
No, you can just follow that,
Okay.
yes.
How does the records officers get updated on the website? Like, we have two on ours, but they're not certified, and our one that is certified isn't on there. How does that work?
Okay, so,
I didn't know
No,
I was
let-
supposed
let-
to take the test every year.
so what's your
So-
question again?
On the website,
Mhm.
for the different counties and cities and towns, it says who your record officer is.
Right, right.
Ours lists two that are not certified,
Mhm.
and we have one in our county that is, that's not on there. Who updates that, or how do we
Okay, if you
change
call
that?
anybody in archives, they can update it.
Okay.
You can send an email to me, and I'll update it, or to any of our records and information management specialists, we'll update it.
So do you cross-reference that? So like if we give you a name, do you link that, yep, they're certified, they can be on there, or you just add whoever we say?
We add who you say, and that generates an email that goes to whoever's listed as your chief administrative officer, and they will verify it. Okay?
Chief Administrative Officer updates that too.
They can, yes. So it's kind of not
So once
just,
they appoint those records officers, they put them in there, they assure that the certification's done. They do the
Right.
certification online, it's automatically uploaded.
right, so the certification is done online, so whenever you complete the test online, that populates that you're certified.
It would show it there.
So that's how that works. Okay. Is there any other questions? I guess that's all I have for today.